It was 2 years ago tonight that the Deepwater Horizon oil rig blew up in the Gulf of Mexico off Louisiana. 11 workers were killed, and it caused the largest accidental oil spill in history. 200 million gallons of crude gushed out of the BP well before it was capped nearly 3 months later. We were curious about the spill's effects, so we asked Elaine Quijano to look into it.
Troy Frady runs a charter fishing boat off the Alabama Gulf Coast. Since the oil spill, he's been worried about some of the red snapper he's catching.
1 to 2% of the fish had these huge lesions on them and fin rot, and we've never seen that before.
Researchers at the University of Florida are trying to determine what's causing the problem.
You can't spill that much oil into a system without having long-term negative consequences.
David Muth is with the advocacy group, the National Wildlife Federation. He took us to an island where weeks after the spill, pelicans were covered with oil. Muth says oil is suffocating mangroves, holding the soil in place. It was 4 acres before. How big is the island now?
It's less than an acre. 75% loss of the island since the spill.
What do you think this will look like in another 2 years?
Gone.
Completely gone.
Completely gone.
Disasters like the 2010 BP oil spill in the Gulf Coast are generally the most well-known environmental effects of petroleum. Starting with the 1989 Exxon Valdez oil spill, these disasters have captured mainstream headlines and the front pages of news stories across the world. Sure, the pictures seen of innocent oil-soaked birds and other wildlife are a tragic sight to see, but the supply side of petroleum production is not the main cause of its detrimental environmental effects. Spills like these do their damage to the region and surrounding area they happen in, while the demand side of petroleum is a lot more devastating. Emissions from burning petroleum affect the entire planet and the very atmosphere we live in, and unlike these oil spills, they cannot be cleaned up. According to the EPA, nitrogen oxides, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, methane, and mercury compounds are all emitted by the burning of petroleum. Even though the burning of petroleum is seen in all aspects of our society, it is most commonly seen in the transportation sector. Our transportation system in the U.S. is overwhelmingly based on burning petroleum products such as gasoline and diesel fuels, which when burned in the average passenger vehicle emit 5 metric tons of carbon dioxide each year. In fact, 86% of the energy used in our transportation sector comes from these petroleum-based products, a still staggering number in an age of heightened environmental consciousness. A lot of the reason can be attributed to the amount of petroleum that is burned in the making of these cars and transportation vehicles on top of the petroleum burned to fuel them. 72% of all the petroleum in the U.S. goes directly into making gasoline, diesel, or jet fuel. The efficiency of each of these products is relatively low, as the average gasoline-fueled automobile is 15 to 25% efficient, the average diesel engine is up to 40 to 50% efficient, and the average jet engine is between 20 and 40% efficient. In addition to these already low efficiencies, when taking into account the efficiency of the production process itself, this makes the total efficiency of each product even.
So what can be done about the environmental aspects associated with the burning of petroleum? Though global climate change is not an immediate threat, logic will point to our society developing a sustainable and permanent energy source in the future. The first step would have to be to make efforts to reduce and eliminate petroleum use on a large scale, which can be accomplished through our increased technological ability and larger human footprint on this planet. It won't be easy, as the fossil fuel industry, especially petroleum, has a powerful grip on many countries' leaders based on the amount of revenue and stimulation to the economy that it provides each year. Look no further than the U.S. for this problem, as even in times of cutback and recession, the oil industry still receives billions of dollars of taxpayers' money in subsidies each year. The window of opportunity is slowly opening, though, as falling costs of alternative energy sources, coupled with rising oil prices and increasing technology, have provided incentive and improved prospects for a sustainable alternative energy future. This only affects the supply side of the oil equation, but changes in demand for our current energy sources can be seen as the more important factor. Our society has to show that this is something that we care about, that we are invested in a sustainable future and are serious about taking that next step with alternative energy. This isn't the case right now, though, as the millions of people outraged by the BP oil spill and other media-covered disasters still likely drove their low-mileage SUVs every day. Small lifestyle changes need to be made to impact the demand of petroleum products, which shifts the market towards cheaper alternative energy and provides incentive for serious alternative energy solutions. Regardless if these changes are made or political avenues like government taxes are raised and addressed, some solution will come to fruition in the next decade or two. The future looks bleak for petroleum, but our environmental future looks as bright as the skies while we make our way towards permanent energy sources, and this is what truly matters.